Hi everyone, welcome back to Uplatz. My name is Prithviraj. I am a technical trainer with Uplatz. In part 2 of Express.js, we will discuss about body parser middleware function. So in part 1 of Express.js, we have good understanding on what is Express.js, how to create a server, and how to work with middleware functions. Now in this session, we will see what is a body parser middleware? Body parser is the Node.js body parsing middleware where it is responsible for parsing the incoming request bodies in a middleware before you handle it. And this body parser middleware function is very useful to parse actually whenever we submit the form. In order to handle the form data, we can take support of body parser. So the main purpose of body parser is to parse the incoming request bodies in a middleware before we handle that. And now let's quickly see one example of how to work with this body parser middleware in Express.js. So our application is going to look like this. We'll be having one HTML page. I will name it as, okay, we will take it as index.html where I'm going to develop a sample website which contains different types of navigation bars. Like we'll be having home page, about page, and training page, services page, contact page. So this is the menu of the web page. Our web page is going to have the following menu, and moreover, we are going to take support of Bootstrap 4 to develop this menu bar. And when user clicks on contact menu, we should get one more HTML page with the name contact.html. So contact.html. Basically, I'm showing you how to work with the routing and moreover how to work with the body parser on submitting this form. So this form, we will develop a contact.html form which contains the following input fields to be entered by the end user. We will name it as a name, email, and mobile. We will also use subject and message. That's it. So these are the five fields we are going to include inside of this contact.html form. Fine. And now when the user clicks on this contact link, end user will get contact.html. And when end user clicks on the button submit, on clicking the button submit, request should go to, on the other hand, request should go to a server which is responsible to handle this request. So this is a server. I will name it as, according to our application, server name is file on which we are going to write the coding related to server is index.js. So on clicking the submit button, request will go to index.js and where we have the logic to handle this. So I will name it as request processing logic. Anyway, we define the endpoint for this to handle this URL. And finally, we will also see how to store this data in the backend database MongoDB using Mongoose driver. So this is MongoDB database. Fine. So this is a MongoDB database. We are interacting with this MongoDB database using Mongoose driver. So which we already discussed in our previous series of Node.js. So this is what the application we are going to develop now. So here to handle this form data, we take support of a built-in middleware called as body parser. Yep, we will name it as body parser middleware. So basically, this is a third-party API or library we need to install explicitly. But from the latest versions of Express, we no need to separately install this middleware body parser. So it is given as a built-in middleware because of its simplicity. It is given as a built-in middleware. Fine. Back to VS Code. Now let's develop first index.html. So under public folder, we already have index.html, contact.html, training.html, and we should go with about services. So right click, new file, about, and this is about page. And under body, I'm going to write just about page. That's it. Right click, new file. We will also name it as one more file, that is services. So just I'm going to give you a sample website. You can customize as per your requirement. Back to index.html. So we'll just open getbootstrap.com website and just will copy the link. So I'm going to copy all these links. Under head tag, we'll go with the link tags. I'm going to use online bootstrap CDN. Under body tag, let me copy this script tags. And now we are done with integrating bootstrap. Moreover, we'll take support of this documentation to develop this nav bar. Fine. Okay. I will select one of the layout here. Yes, I'll go with this layout. Copy. Fine. Save this. And now let's run the application once. Back to index.html. Open with live server. Yes. And now we have a sample website ready with different types of menus available. So we will name it as Uplatz instead of navbar. Okay, I'll remove this H reference attribute so that user cannot select that. And home. So as per this diagram, home about training services contact. First one is home. Second one is about training. And moreover, we'll also go with the contact. Training services and the contact. And that's it. Okay. We have our layout of the web page is ready with the menu bar. Let's go with the dark background, and here background color I will take it as danger. And now fine, and we have a menu bar ready. On clicking this home button, or by default whenever we give the request using localhost 5000, we should get this index.html. Now let's see how to do that. So first let's import the required module or package called as express, and we'll store inside a reference variable express. Fine. And now we'll also go with the log function. That's it. And now save this. Let's initialize this express and store the reference inside a variable app. And we'll also set the port number on which we want our express server to run. App.listen on so and so port number, and a callback function server listening on port. That's it. Save this. Back to command prompt. Let's run this application. Node mon index.js. And now when end user is requesting for this URL app.get forward slash. So callback function having request and response objects. I need to send that index.html file as a response. So for this, we'll go with the send file followed by, and before that, we will also import, we'll make use of path module, which is a built-in module in Node.js to work with the different types of, to join different types of files and directories. Send file, path.join, directory name under public folder. That's it. Save this. Back to browser. Let's give the request localhost 5000. Click enter. And now we got cannot get something like this. So response.send file path.join. To find, we will serve this index.html. Give request. Okay, fine. And now we got index.html page. So on clicking this home button, anyway we'll stay in the same page. On clicking this about, we should go to about page. On clicking this training, we should go to training page. Like that, on clicking any one of this menu, we should go to their respective pages. So, and we can also, instead of writing this, we can also make use of middleware static in Express. That is nothing but app dot use express dot static path dot join underscore underscore dir name public. That's it. And now just refresh this web page, and now we got our home page, and by default this home is selected. And when I give the request using about.html, we are getting about page. And when I request slash training.html, that particular pages are served back. So now in the index.html, let's give the URLs directly as the value for reference attributes for each and every menu. So here I will go with about.html, training.html, services.html, and contact.html. So refresh, just click on about. We are going to about page. Click on training, training page. Contact, contact as services. So this is services page. So let's repeat this coding even for about.html page, and let's change the title to about page. Now here for home, we'll give the empty about.html home. Okay, fine. We are able to go to different types of pages based on the operations in the front end page about training and all. So now let me repeat the same thing even for services.html. Just to change the title to services, and just will keep one services. Okay, our services. Fine, save this, refresh, go to services, and now we can see we are getting the message our services. And if I click training, so back to training, Let's also include the same coding training page. Take a div tag whose class is bootstrap built-in class called as a container, and we'll give the message the training page. That's it. Refresh, and now we have a training page with us. So class margin top 3, fine. And now when I click about, we are able to go to about us page. Back to about, we'll also write one piece of code inside about.html. So we'll make it as about us. And now we are done with the basic website. So under home page, we will just use this message from our website. Okay, let me copy all the things back to index.html. So div whose class is a container, and h2 tag, we will use this content, h4 tag, fine, that's it. Let me close that here, h4, and let me close h2 tag here. Save this. And now when you look at our website, refresh. Okay, we have, let me give some spacing on the top of this class margin top to 3. Refresh, and now we have our sample website ready with the home page. Some content is displayed related to our website Uplatz, about page, training page, services page, and moreover contact page. So back to services. Let me wrap this inside a div whose class is equal to container, and let me do the same thing even for contact.html. So back to contact.html. Let me change the title to contact page. Fine, save this, and under container tag, we'll go with contact us. So the div tag will go with contact us, and we'll take a form now with some action is equal to contact, and method we will take it as post. Fine, and now refresh this contact services training about home. So everything is working as per our expectation. Fine. And now we have a same look and feel for a number of pages for this website. And when it comes to contact, let me develop a contact form which contains the following fields: name, email, mobile, subject, and message. Back to contact.html. Now we will develop the input fields. Okay. I'll go with the div whose class is equal to form group. Label will make it as name, and corresponding input whose class is equal to form control, and we will give the name as a name. So just let me check the layout of the page. So click contact, and we have a name field currently. So let me repeat the same thing even for email. Let me repeat for email, mobile, message, and subject. Label is email. I will name it as email, mobile, mobile, subject, subject, and finally message. and we'll also keep one button to submit the form. So user interface to the end user is ready. So button submit. So whose class is equal to bootstrap built-in class button hyphen block. I want block level button and button hyphen primary. Save this. Back to browser. Just click on contact and we have our contact page ready. On click on entering the details in this form and clicking the submit, the request should go to index.js and here we need to write the logic to handle that request. So let's see how to do that. So here in the index.js, in the contact.html, I have a form whose action is equal to contact. So here app dot, let me go with the get method. Okay. If it is a post method and if the request is a contact, so request and response object as an argument for this callback function. Just let me send a confirmation message to the end user. Registration success. So I want this to come and to display in center of the browser. Text hyphen center. Color will make it as blue. And now let me make use of string template. Save this. Back to browser. Click on submit. And now we have a message registration success. And now inside of this app.post, because here in the form page, we are having one form in the contact.html. We are having a form. We are processing that form by using a method called as HTTP method post. So if you want to process the post method, we need to make use of the post method here in our index.js app.post. And now here, let me write the logic first to parse that incoming form using the module called as body parser. As I said, from latest version of Express, we don't need to install this body parser module separately. And since I'm using latest version of Express, let me import body parser module first. So let body parser equal to require body parser. Fine, save this. And now let me give the request, submit. Okay, we didn't get any type of errors. It means we have successfully imported this body parser, and to make this body parser working, before working with this body parser, now let me show you. Let me log in the console, the request dot body. So I'm capturing actually the incoming form data. So back to browser, let's click submit, and now we can see we are getting undefined. So without body parser, this is our output. We cannot handle that form data. Now let me make use of a body parser. Okay, and here app dot use body parser dot JSON. I'll save this. Back to browser and click on this submit button. And now we have, okay, 1 second. Let me restart this. So click on this submit and still we are getting the empty. Now let me fill the form. Mobile Node.js. Okay, some message. Okay, let me restart the server and check. Okay, fill the form once, submit. Still we are getting the empty form, and we need to also use app.use express.url encoded. So I'll make this extended as false. Save this. Back to browser, fill the form, click submit. And now if you monitor here in the back end, okay, fine. We are able to access that complete request body, and this is the these are the details related to that form. Once you get these details, our next step is, as per the diagram, we need to use the Mongoose driver and we need to interact with this MongoDB. So now let's first install the Mongoose driver. Npm install Mongoose, and moreover I'm going to work with Cloud MongoDB, which we already discussed in previous sessions. So to visit that website, go to cloud.mongodb.com, and we already seen how to work with the metrics, connections, and all. So I am there in the project called as Uplatz Node.js project, and click on connect, and choose the option connect to your application, and just copy this back to VS Code, and let's keep that ready. So whatever the thing we copied, that is nothing but the URL required to connect to the cloud MongoDB. Fine, now let's replace database name with Uplatz. Already I have a database with the name Uplatz, and the password I will go with admin1234. Save this, and now let's import the module called as Mongoose using require function Mongoose. Save this. So app.post, okay, fine. And now let's establish the connection first. Once we are done with the URL, let's establish the connection. Mongoose dot will go with the method called as the connect, followed by this URL. And finally, let's get the reference to the database connection object by calling mongoose dot connection. And how to check whether the connection is success or failure? Okay, one more thing. Here we'll go with one more object, and we will set this use new URL parser to true, and moreover use unified topology to true. So to avoid this deprecation warnings, and moreover, now let's see how to check whether the connection is success or not. db dot will go with the callback function on whenever an error is raised in establishing connection with the database. This error event will be raised. As a part of that, let me bind that event to the console dot error dot bind. We'll pass the console just connection error. And now let me check whether the connection is established or not. Once when the connection is opened with the destination database, I want to display this log message connection with cloud MongoDB is success. So just save this, and now let's run this application once again. Okay, and we got the message connection with the cloud MongoDB is success. And now back to cloud MongoDB. Just monitor here. If I click on connect, okay. Anyway, we already got that. Okay, click on these collections. We will see the list of available collections inside the database Uplatz. And now we already have a collection with the name enquiries. Let me delete that. So click on drop, and that particular collection is deleted. Moreover, let me also delete employees collection. And now we successfully dropped two collections from the database Uplatz. And now we don't have any type of database available. On running this application, it is going to create a database with the name Uplatz. And let me also go with the schemas and models. First, let me derive a schema, and from that, we'll compile that schema to a model. Later, we'll start saving the form data to the database MongoDB. So here actually we will create a schema. We can also create the schema outside. So I'll go with the enquiry schema equal to, from Mongoose we can call a method called as schema, which is going to take an object as an argument. So according to this, We need to create a schema which contains the form related data, like whatever the fields we have in this input form, like name, email, mobile, subject, and message. Name of type string, that is nothing but a data type. Email of type string, and we'll also use mobile, that is also of type string. Subject of type string, and moreover message of type string. That's it. So mongoose dot schema. Fine. And now let's derive a model from this schema. Let enquiries equal to mongoose dot model, give the name enquiries, and pass the schema enquiry schema, and name of the collection. I will give the collection name as enquiries. And now once we are done with this, let's initialize this model. So inside post, let enquiry one equal to new enquiries of, since it is expecting object, we'll directly go with request dot body. Fine. And we will send a confirmation message to the end user. So dear so and so username, enquiry. Okay, we will go with request dot body dot name, registration success. That's it. Otherwise, we'll go with the message. Thank you for. Okay, otherwise, we'll go with the thank you for contacting us. Thank you for contacting Uplatz. That's it. So this is the confirmation message I want to send. And we'll make it as color as blue. This is the style attribute. Save this. Back to browser. Let's fill this form. Click on submit. And now we can see, dear Prithviraj, thank you for contacting Uplatz. And moreover, let's check in the MongoDB cloud whether we have the data available or not inside the enquiries collection. Let me refresh this. Okay, page is refreshing. Now let's monitor here. So we should have Uplatz database, and we need to also have enquiries collection with the form data filled by the user. So it is taking a lot of time to refresh. Fine. So it is retrieving list of collections. Okay, let me give one more request. Before that, let me restart the server, fill the form, click submit. Back to Mongo Cloud, and let's refresh this once again. Okay, fine. And it is telling that it is unable to connect to this Uplatz database. Fine, anyway, let me add the database name manually. So let's give the demo collection first, create. And we have a database ready now with the name Uplatz. Fine. And now let's fill the form once again and give the request. Because anyway, database is ready now. Click submit. Just refresh this page. We should have this enquiries collection under Uplatz database. Fine. I think something went wrong. Okay, fine. Actually, we are not saving. We are not calling the save method. That's the problem. So enquiry one dot save So we'll go with one callback function. So save is having different forms of formats, and now we have two formats for the save method. So inquiry one dot save. I will go with a callback function error and some document or otherwise some result. If any error occurs at the time of saving, let me log in the console error. Else, just we will log in the console log inquiry dot name. We'll make use of template literal document saved successfully. Fine, that's it. Let's close this string template. Still, we are expected. Okay, actually, we did not use that correctly. And now let's fill the form once again. Let me change the name to admin. Submit. And now you can see, dear admin, thank you for contacting Uplatz. Refresh this page. So let's monitor here. Admin document saved successfully. Now we have enquiries collection ready under Uplatz database. Now when I click on these enquiries, and now we have our form related data saved successfully in this enquiries, and we have a single document with us now. So this is how we need to make use of Mongoose driver in order to connect to MongoDB. And we have also seen how to work with this body parser. So if required, we can take all these things from this place, like handling this form related data and all. We can keep it inside a separate module or a separate file, and we can also start, we can just export that. So we'll do one thing, we'll copy that, and I'll paste that, or I'll go with one more file with the name. I'll name it as okay, API.js. You can give any name. And here, let me make use of express. Let express equal to, let's import that express, and let app equal to, or otherwise I will name it as a router. Now I'm going to take support of middleware function router, express dot router. Let's call this function router. And now router dot post. Fine, that's it. And now we will just export that using module dot exports function. Export this router, and index.js, let's import that. Let router equal to require. Okay, let's import from the current working directory API.js. And fine, now back to command prompt. Let's restart the server. So let's fill the form once again with a different name, email ID. So I'll go with rajiv@gmail.com, some mobile number, subject, and some message. Click submit. Okay, cannot post. So let me check what is the problem. Cannot post. It is showing. Okay, actually I'm not using this router. That's the problem. Okay, app.use this router. Fine. Now let's click on this submit button once again. Inquiries is not defined. Okay, fine. We'll also wrap this complete coding inside API.js. keep it on the top of this, and let's import Mongoose library here. Require Mongoose. We make use of log function also. Constant log console.log. Save this. Back to browser. Submit the form. Okay. Read property name of undefined. We cross check. What is the problem? Undefined document. Back to index.js. Fine. Actually, we are establishing the connection here. Let me remove this connection related things also and keep it inside API.js. Save this. Fill the form. Submit. URL is not defined. Let me copy this index.js URL also. Let's run this. Click submit. Cannot read property of undefined. Okay, at line number 42 in index.js and the API.js, line number 42, response.send request.body.name. Okay, cool. Let me make use of this body parser and URL encoded. App.use. We are using the router here actually. API.js. Fine. Let me import this body parser here also. Back to browser. Click submit. One more problem we got. App is not defined. Router.use. Router.use. Cannot access router before initialization. Click submit. And now we have, dear Raju, thank you for contacting Uplatz. Back to browser. Okay, let me cross check once. Refresh this. We should have second document ready. So we have second document stored inside of this MongoDB. So cool. Actually, we have this many documents. Okay, second document is ready. So this we actually this is by default generated by MongoDB. Even though we are unable to handle that form, but because of that logic, it is generally displaying generally going with the field underscore ID. So to uniquely identify the document. So rest of the form is not, we don't have here. And now we have this document having the form data, and that's pretty much about Express.js working with the body parser module. We have also seen one sample website like how to handle this kind of things. So thank you very much. Catch you in the next tutorial.